If there's one thing we all have in common, it's love and romance. And now, historian and author Francesca Beauman is taking a closer look at the history of personal dating ads and what they say about finding the perfect mate then and now in her new book, Matrimony, Inc.
I spent years trawling through old newspapers, and what I found is that America had personal ads in every state in the nation, so much earlier than you'd ever think. So I found America's first personal ad, which was in 1759 in the Boston Evening Post. And it was from a gentleman looking for a lady between 18 and 23 years of age, of middling stature, brown hair, and good morals.
So what stuck out to you as something that stayed the same for hundreds and hundreds of years?
I'm afraid to say there's always been an emphasis on women being young and men having resources. And it's sort of a depressing answer, but the fact of it is so much of it, of course, is evolutionary, right? And so it becomes hard to escape. I mean, obviously, that's changed in very recent years in terms of, appearances or money.
Back then, they're putting ads in newspapers. Hey, this is what I'm looking for. But with social media, a lot of interaction on these apps today end up becoming public. There's something called Tinder Nightmares on Instagram. So in a way, is that similar?
So public. It's almost the first public place that people are telling the world what they're looking for in a partner. Again, that's what makes it this kind of amazing source of evidence, really. I mean, the early personal ads in the 18th century, they would often end with a phrase like, "No triflers need apply," or "secrecy guaranteed." For 250 years, people have been willing to put it out there in the newspaper or magazine or on a dating app because they're working long hours, or they're kind of shy, or they've just moved to the big city and they don't have many friends or family. The reasons people were advertising for a wife in New York City in 1780 are the same reasons, right, that they are on Tinder today. They haven't actually changed as much as you might think.
I wanted to see just how much dating has or hasn't changed by chatting with a group of daters who all use dating apps. First, I showed them one of Francesca's examples.
A young man with a glass eye who would like to make the acquaintance of a young lady also with a glass eye.
How do you present yourselves on dating apps? Are you completely honest?
I would definitely say so. I present myself. I'm picking, first of all, the best photos of myself.
I think I relate to the ad about the person with the glass eye wanting someone with the glass eye. I tend to look for people who are just like me.
I definitely try to be upfront about my limitations as well as my positive attributes.
I undersell myself. They're either swiping right or they're basing it on your first picture.
But how honest are you guys with exactly what you want?
Super honest. I mean, I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste anyone else's time.
I found myself being much more not picky, which I usually am in person. I'm super picky. And on the apps, I would give people chances that I normally wouldn't. And
I really rely on the algorithms, and I basically wouldn't go on a date unless we had an 85% match.
I try to keep it pretty general in my profile. I just feel like I don't want to put something in there and somebody's like, oh, well, that's not me.
What would you think would be the biggest difference between that time and now on these apps?
being able to see firsthand what you're getting, that's the biggest difference.
Back in the day, all you had to go on was a person's writing skills, and now their picture might push you to actually go on the date.
I personally cannot stand when people put long paragraphs in their dating apps. For me, that just kind of translates, no one lets you speak this long in real life. So that's why you're putting it on the dating app.
What would you say is the most similar thing?
I would say the most similar thing is the need for patience. I have to assume that when you put in that request for the newspaper back in the day, you're not getting calls that day.
The honesty. But I appreciate that they said they had a glass eye.
So the one similarity I found between daters then and now, people generally know who they are and what they want.
I want no brainless dandy nor foppish fool, but a practical man who can drive a coach.
And he's got to be tall, like 6'2" and above.
I'm not a dude that is looking to fool around.
Politically, I need to be aligned with the person.
I'm really lonely, so then I'm really swiping for everyone, and that ends up being a bad idea.